For Detroit Lions fans, we have been waiting ever since Barry Sanders retired for a team that we could call our own and be proud of. We've been waiting for the real McCoy. Well, now it certainly seems like the Detroit Lions are, in fact, the real deal. And we're going to talk about it in today's episode, folks, so stay tuned. It started with an owner who had a last name fans despised, hiring a coach that the experts thought was crazy.
But I got a plan, I swear to you.
Who traded for a QB that was said to be washed up. They said the Detroit Lions would never amount to anything, that it would always be the same old Lions. But this team, our team, has a new identity, defined and expressed by the crazy head coach.
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes, I will beat your ass.
Led by the QB that nobody thought was good. Motor City Mania is in full swing and ready to start. So join the show and be prepared for kneecap biting, because Motor City Mania starts right now. Hello everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host David T. Pike, and we're diving in right now. So as always, I just want to welcome back those that have been on the channel before. Thank you all for your view, thank you all for your support, thank you all for your patrons, thank you all for coming back. And for the newcomers that are tuning into the show, again, thank you all for tuning in, thank you all for giving my show a chance, and hopefully I gain your subscription. And to everybody, I just want to say God bless, thank you all for what you do, and let's dive into the content. So here's the thing, folks. If you've been watching football for virtually almost any point in your life, and if you've definitely been a Detroit Lions fan, you know for a 100% true fact that Lions fans have been waiting for this moment. They have been waiting for this team. They have been waiting for the chance to actually say, yes, the Detroit Lions are the real McCoy. They are the real deal. This is a team that is going to have to dealt with in the NFL. You can't overlook us. You can't just think that we're, a paper tiger or some nonsense. No, this is a team that you have to contend with. This is a team you have to bring your A game, or if you don't, you're going to pay the price. And when you take a look at what this team has been able to do, especially over the last year and a half, it has been an absolutely just wonderful ride to actually be on as a Lions fan, because, like I said, this is what we as Lions fans, we have been waiting most of, if not all of our adult lives for, because we've been waiting for a team that can do exactly what we're seeing the Lions do right now. And what the Lions have been doing, absolutely stupendous, absolutely wonderful to watch on television, to hear all the hype, to hear all the excitement, to hear the praise that we're getting from national media analysts, local media analysts, national newspapers, you name it, we got it. And let's be fair here. It's not just some typed up nonsense like what the Cowboys get because they're the most valuable team in the NFL. And it's not just because, hey, you know what, we're whatever kind of team that, people just like to flock to. No, we've earned the hype. We've earned the excitement. We've earned the praise. And we've earned it over a long period of time. Let's just think about this, folks. Let's just kind of go back in history a little bit here. Over the last 16 games that the Lions have played, so the first 6 of this year, and then if you go back to the last 10 of last year, the Lions are 13-3. 13-3. That is the best record that the Lions have had in a 16-game stretch ever since I've been alive, at least. Because I was born in 1994, folks. The Lions have never had a stretch of games that good. They've never won 13 out of 16 games in that long of a stretch. That to me is just absolutely wonderful. The fact that we have won that many games over a 16-game stretch, which would have been a normal season a couple of years ago, absolutely stupendous. And something that we have not seen the Lions do ever. Because here's the thing. The Lions' best record as a ball club for an entire season from start to finish is 12-4. We have not gotten past 12 wins ever in franchise history. But if you think about it, over the last 16 games, we've gone 13-3. That's freaking awesome. Then, let's think about this as well. We've been talking about for a long, long time how absolutely marvelous Ben Johnson and Jared Goff have got this offense running. This offense is humming at an absolutely just ridiculous pace, ridiculous clip. Over the last let's think about this, folks. Over the last 2 years, this has been a top 5 offense. There's no debate on that. Last year, it was a top 5 offense when we finished. And so far, if you take a look at the statistical rankings for this year, this offense is a top 5 offense again. It is just absolutely producing at an unprecedented rate, an unprecedented clip. This is what Jared Goff and Ben Johnson have put together with this offense. And if you think about it, this has happened over the last 20 games. Because again, 17 games last year, 6 games this year. So again, we're doing this now for freaking 23, 20-some games. We've been just absolutely lights out on offense. But now, it's not just the offense we can talk about again. Here, I'm going to put this out there. Praise is earned, praise is due with me when it comes to Aaron Glenn and this defense. For the last 5 games, because again, if we include this game that we just played against the Buccaneers, for the last 5 games, this defense has been playing lights out. And I'm willing to admit that. I'm definitely willing to admit that. But again, I'm not going to fully retract what I said about Aaron Glenn until the end of the season. But every single week, I give the praise of what this defense has done because they've been playing lights out in the run defense. They've been pressuring quarterbacks. They might not be always getting sacks like the last 2 weeks that we've been playing, but they pressure the quarterback. They make the quarterback's job very difficult. They're making sure they're good pass coverage. They're making sure they're getting after the running back. They're shutting down rushing lanes. This defense is playing extremely well. And right now, if you take a look at the statistical rankings, most of those statistical rankings for the Lions defense are up there in the top 10, top 12. There's a few that are outside of it, but right now this defense is playing exceedingly well. And I hope and pray that we can continue to see this long-held potential that we've been looking for continue to blossom and show itself through as we continue to go week after week after week for the remainder of the season. And then, let's talk about some of the players here. Let's talk about Jared Goff for a minute. I still remember 2 years ago when I started my old channel, DLF, that was when I really kind of took off with this whole thing about Jared Goff. Because if you think about it, Jared Goff, when we first got him in 2021, and again, I just made an episode about this, I'll reference it back up at the top here, but when we first got Jared Goff in 2021, there were a lot of Lions fans that just looked at Jared Goff like he was a throw-in. They just looked at him like, you know what, he's nothing, he's a guy that's going to be a bridge quarterback for a year or two, and then he's gone. We're not going to have to deal with him for very long. I'm so glad that those Lions fans were wrong. I'm so glad that those Lions fans have had to eat their crow in more than one simple helping. And I'm so glad that the Lions have made Jared Goff into a top 5 quarterback. Let's just be fair here. Jared Goff is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. He's an absolutely stupendous quarterback right now, without a shadow of a doubt. And if you think about it, Jared Goff has done this quietly. It's not like Jared Goff is getting all the praise in the world like, some other quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, like, some of these other quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers used to before he got injured. Those quarterbacks were always in the news. Jared Goff has been doing what he's been doing quietly and usually without any sort of recognition from most people. It's now starting to pick up. But think about this, folks. Jared Goff is playing at a top 5 level, and he's playing at a level that's even better than what he played in 2018 when he took the Rams to the Super Bowl. Think about that for a minute. The level that he's playing at as a quarterback right now is better than what he played as when he was the quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams in 2018. That's absolutely just ridiculous. It may not show in the statistics right now, but I'm pretty sure it does. But if you even take the statistical aspect out of this, just take a look at the game film. The way Jared Goff is playing right now, total command of the offense, able to take what the defense is giving him, not forcing the ball, protecting the ball, just playing with a absolutely amazing confidence and sense of leadership that is just stupendous for what the Lions have right now. Jared Goff is just playing lights out. And then you start taking a look at some of the other guys that we have on this roster that are just playing absolutely lights out. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, there's so many guys right now that are playing at a top level because of what they're doing, and they're just not getting the recognition. But that's fine. If you take a look at what the Lions are doing right now, they don't care about getting the individual accolades. They care about the team. They care about what they can do together as a team. And here's the thing. As time goes by, those players are going to start getting more recognition. They're going to start getting more individual achievement records as far as, hey, this is what this guy is doing. Hey, this is what this guy is doing in comparison to other guys around the NFL. But again, for me, it's like, listen, Jared Goff is what powers that offense that is doing so well right now. And again, the offense, like I just said a couple of moments ago, so well. But think about it this way, folks. The Lions offense yesterday with that 20-6 victory over the Bucs extended their 20-plus point streak per game to 15 games straight. That is the longest active streak in the NFL. First and foremost, that's a credit to the offense in general as far as the entire unit and the players on that offense. But it's more importantly a credit to offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson has got his thumb right on the pulse of this offense. He knows exactly what he needs to do almost every single time he goes to bat to play against an opponent. He knows how to get the offense in the right play call. He knows how to get the offense in the right scheme. He just knows what to do. And again, when I think about it, Ben Johnson is one of, if not the best offensive coordinator that's in the NFL right now, because what he's able to do is nothing short of just miraculous. He is just playing and coaching at such a high level right now that you cannot deny that his involvement with this Lions offense is a big, big part of why the Lions offense is doing as well as it is. It's not the main reason, but it's one of the main reasons. Because again, if you take Jared Goff out of the equation, the offense doesn't do nearly as well. If you take Ben Johnson out of the equation, it doesn't do nearly as well. But that's why this offense is playing at such a top level. Ben Johnson, Jared Goff, all the other players, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, David Montgomery, that offensive line, it as a unit is just playing at such a high level. It is part of the reason why the Lions, along with the surging defense right now, are the real deal. But again, you have to go even further with this. Think about this, folks. The Lions have by far the best depth on both sides of the ball, offensive and defense, that we have ever seen in the entire time since the Barry Sanders era, and probably even better than then. And what's even better about this whole situation is this. There's depth on both sides of the ball we have not even seen fully yet. We have not seen the full potential. Don't believe me? Think about it this way, folks. On the offensive side of the ball, we have yet to see what freaking Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams can truly fully do. Because neither one of them have been, as you would say, let loose. They've not been let out of their cage, so to speak, and allowed to just run rimshot. Because for us, it's like, listen, we've only seen a little bit of sampling from Jamo and only a little bit of sampling from Gibbs. We haven't really seen what these two can do on a field together yet. And realistically, we haven't seen what they can do individually yet. So it's like those two already huge untapped potential on the offensive side of the ball. But then you go to the defense. There's untapped potential there as well. We haven't seen what players like Josh Paschal can do just yet. We haven't seen fully what Levi Onwuzurike can do just yet. We haven't seen what Broderick Martin can do just yet. And there's other players we haven't seen fully yet. We haven't seen, Stephen Gilmore yet. There's a lot of guys on that defense that also we have not seen the full potential of how well they could play with that defense. And think about it this way, folks. This is an offense and a defense that's just getting better and better and better every single week, and they're already playing at a very, very high level, and there are still guys we have not seen fully come out of their shell or yet at all, because Broderick Martin has been a healthy scratch every single week since we've drafted him, and Josh Paschal hasn't really played so much this year because of an injury. But that's my whole point. All that untapped potential is there right for the taking. We just have to wait for it to come out onto the field. But I guarantee you this, when it does, all hell's going to break loose. So there's that as well. And then let's think about this, folks. I don't really take as much stock into remaining strength of schedule as a lot of other people do. But let's just be fair and honest here. The Lions' remaining strength of schedule is, I hate to use this term because, again, I'm a firm believer in the any given Sunday mindset, but you have to take a look at what the Lions have for the remainder of the year. Their strength of schedule, the opponents they have to play, almost a virtual cakewalk in terms of who they've got to play. Because most of the opponents we have are not really all that threatening. In fact, if you realistically think about it, the most threatening games that the Lions have left on their schedule is this upcoming game we have against the Ravens, the game we have against the Chargers, the game against the Cowboys, and the game against the Vikings. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if I recall correctly, all those games are on the road. I could be wrong. I know the Cowboys game, I think, is at home. I know the Vikings game that I'm referring to is the definite one at their place at US Bank Stadium. The Ravens game is definitely away, but my whole point is this. Of the remaining however many games we have left, we've played 6, so 11 games we have left, only 4 of them are really threatening to the Lions. And the Lions right now are 5-1. I said earlier this year that I thought the Lions would probably go 11-6, maybe 12-5. If we were to somehow lose all 4 of those games, we'd still go 12-5. But I'm realistically looking at those games. I think the Lions can win at least 3 out of 4 of them. That's the most threatening games that we have. That's my personal opinion, though. And again, if you think about it this way, just to kind of keep on this trend with the strength of schedule, think about this one for a moment. The Lions are in the NFC, right? That's their conference. The NFC North is their division, but the conference is the NFC. If you take a look at the NFC conference in general, there's realistically, in my opinion, only 3 other teams that realistically pose any sort of a threat to the Lions. And of those 3, only 2 of them I really consider the top dogs. And the 3 teams in general I'm talking about are the Cowboys, the Niners, and the Eagles. But the 2 teams that are the real big threats are the Niners and the Eagles. But let's think about this, folks. We don't play the Niners or the Eagles this year. And the Niners and Eagles just lost their first game of the year, and realistically, they lost it in rather embarrassing fashion. Let's just be honest here. The Niners lost against P.J. Walker and the freaking Browns, and then the Eagles lost against Zach Wilson and the Jets. That's not exactly top dog opponents that you're going up against. Granted, the Jets and the Browns have good defenses, but their offenses are non-existent because of the quarterbacks that they had in those games. Whereas, when you take a look at the Lions right now, the defense is playing at pretty much the exact same level as both the Browns and the Jets on their side, but the offense is playing at a supremely much higher level than both of those guys as opponents for the Niners and the Eagles. But think about it this, folks. I just was talking about the Lions' strength of schedule and how realistically the Lions only have a couple of games left that are really going to be challenging to them. Take a look at the strength of schedule for the Lions. The strength of schedule for the Lions is the 31st in the league. It's the almost weakest schedule in the remaining for the Lions is for the strength of schedule component. Theirs is at a .391 for strength of schedule for all remaining opponents, right? You take a look at the Niners and the Eagles, they're in the top 10, and one of them's almost top 5. The Eagles at a .554, ranked 7th highest. The 49ers at a .540, ranked 9th highest. And I'm going to tell you this right now. The Eagles and the Niners, they just have really, really tough schedules that are coming up. Like, really just bodacious schedules. If I recall correctly, one of those teams, I think it might be the Eagles. They have got a schedule coming up where it's just absolutely brutal. They have got a lot of people that they've got to play against, and they really don't get a reprieve as far as top-end talent until the last 3 weeks of the year when they play the Giants twice, and the Cardinals once. But virtually from now until the time that they end the year, they are playing against top-ranked teams. I think the only team that is out of that conversation might be the Washington Commanders. Otherwise, they're playing against top competition the entire way through. For a team like the Eagles that's already having some issues with their offense and also having some injury concerns, you go up against that long stretch of opponents, it's going to get very, very rough. It's going to get very, very difficult. Now, as far as the Niners are concerned, they should be a lot better off, but unfortunately, because they don't have Christian McCaffrey right now and Deebo Samuel, they're both dealing with injuries, and the fact that you just lost against the Browns, again, I think that's going to bode problems for the 49ers as well, because the one thing the 49ers have shown is that when their top stars are out, they can't play very well. Because think about it. They lost yesterday's game against the Browns because they lost both McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, right? Let's go back to last year in the playoffs. The reason they lost that playoff game was because they lost Brock Purdy. When they don't have their top players, they don't play the same. Their backups cannot play at the same level. Something that the Lions can do really well right now because, hey, we've adopted and we know how to use that next man up mindset to play at the same level regardless of who's in. The Niners have not. So if you think about it, the Eagles have a really difficult schedule from pretty much here until the end of the year. The Niners are already dealing with injuries and have already proven they can't play well without their top star players. So for me, it's like, I already can tell you this right now. The Lions are the real deal because, 1, of how they're playing as a team in general. 2, how they're playing against some really good opponents. And 3, because think about the rest of the NFC that's got to contend with us. There's virtually nobody that is going to have that easy of a path to get to the playoffs and at the same time a better likelihood of winning the first round bye. And here's the thing. If you get that first round bye, you have home advantage throughout the entirety of the playoffs. We already know how damn hard it is to play in Ford Field because there's not a lot of teams that have been able to come into Ford Field over the last 16-something games and have really been able to beat us at home. So far, if I think about it, I think only 2 teams have done that. That's the Seahawks and the Bills. Other than that, nobody's been able to come into Ford Field and beat us there. That is a super heavy advantage to have going into the playoffs if the Lions actually get that first round bye. But I'm just saying it right now. Never more in my entire life have the Lions felt like the real deal. Never more in my life could I say the Lions are the real McCoy. And the fact that everybody else is saying the exact same thing that I've been saying and am saying right now, it definitely warms my heart. But again, quick video, wanted to get this out, had a lot of fun with it. Hopefully you guys do too. And with that, I just want to say thank you all for watching yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode I got coming after this one. And I also encourage y'all, please, do one of these three things, or hell, all three of them, it's even better. Like, comment, and subscribe. If by chance you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, or you just subscribed and you not had a chance to do so, first and foremost, I want to encourage y'all, make sure you subscribe. But also, after you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification icon that's at the bottom of the page along with it, so that way you never miss any more content that I push out, so that way you're always in the know-how and you get the latest updates that I got coming from my channel. I also encourage y'all, please, share this content with your Lions friends and family members. Share it to anybody and everybody that you know, with everybody that... everywhere and anywhere that you can. Pardon me, I'm getting a little excited here. Share it here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it everywhere and anywhere with anybody and anybody. And with that, folks, I just want to again say thank you all for tuning into the show. Thank you all for your view, your support, your patronage. Hopefully I gained your subscription. And with that, I just want to say God bless. And until the next time we meet, I'll see y'all in my next episode.